Hi, everybody. So this is 1,894 moved from his barracks room, and his life was taken from him forcibly, brutally. He fought back, but his life was taken from him. And our information is that he caused some major dental work in one of the perpetrators. So they had to, of course, without any expense being considered, they ordered the room, this soundproof room, totally renovated without going through the regular channels. This was on Fort Bliss, and they had it totally renovated. Um, and without any spare of expense, whatever it took to cover up the crime scene. And yeah, that's it's just so evil, the whole thing. And of course, Richard's body was stolen. He was dismembered, and he was trafficked into Mexico. So we, of course, uh, you know, you can't keep this kind of um, truth silent. You just can't. Uh, the truth always comes forward. It always comes up like like stones in Ireland. We always say, like the stones in Ireland, the truth comes up. It rises up, and of course, God and his entire host of angels are always watching, are always moving, directing the the for the those that love the Lord, those that choose um, blessings, right? And then those blessings come forward, and then that you have those that choose curse. That was something that has been really presented over and over again the last few days. Is these people have just cursed their whole house, have just cursed themselves, they've cursed everything. They're just a curse, right? Because they have crime in their right hand, crime in their left hand, crime in their heart, crime in their thoughts, crime in every strand of their hair, crime in their left foot, crime in their right foot. Uh, you know, they have just crime in the way they walk, and everything in their lips. They have crime in their lips, deception in their lips. Yeah, their whole being is deception because of the crime that they have. And so they just choose a curse, it's just a curse upon them. So, and this has been, you know, uh, presented as, because we work from victory, right? We know that how can they even win if they're cursed? They can't. So that's why we know for sure that we work from victory, and that's how in 5 years we have been able to move forward, even with all the retaliation, even with all um, uh, the doubts, even with all the doubts, um, even with all the shadow banning, with all the death threats, everything that we have gone through, not even being able to get through a Christmas without threats and being attacked by this deep state that, of course, is tied to a Mormon faction. Nobody ever talks about that, but it is. It's clearly a Mormon faction tied to the cartel and tied to the CCP, and open borders. So that's why you see Soros's hand in this. You also see big power players like Woody Hunt of El Paso, um, just up to no good. And you see that in Chihuahua with Governor Maru Campos, who's whose power has been stripped from her by the Mexican president Scheinbaum because of exposing all of the crimes that they have in their right hand and left hand. And you're talking about oil smuggling, gas smuggling, all the child trafficking, all of the body the body recycling, the corpse recycling of Plenitude Crematorium. That their level is, you know, it's bottomless. They'll just go further down and down and down. Um, and they're stealing from the people, just like the fuel. That's national fuel, and then they sell it back, right? And it's just such a scheme. And then they go buy themselves a $20 million mansion, which was rated. Cesar Paneche's $20 million. I think it's $20 million. That's the information we're getting. Mansion was rated, and uh, you know, uh, in July of 2025. So that tells you, of course, we know that the FBI with the Fiscalia are investigating him for this Carvel connection, partnership to steal this petrol, diesel products, and money laundering. He's also involved in um, obstructing our son's case by interfering with the investigation. And we know that we have hard evidence for that. So, he's up to no good. And he's with this group. And of course, he's from Mexico City. And he was brought in by the very power brokers and suggested, how the suggestions go, he was suggested to be placed as the Attorney General for Chihuahua, Mexico by those power brokers in El Paso. So, tied to the Mormon faction, tied to the cartels, and this is all a big syndicate. It's a big syndicate, and I would call it like the deep state because it goes pretty far. It goes really far, very international. So let me make sure that I'm on. I am. Thank you so much. And it is late again. We're burning the midnight oil because so much is happening. You have the Democrats and, of course, the rhinos, too. Because don't forget, Romney ran as a Republican. He's a Republican. He was a Republican senator. And that was all deception. He is absolutely part of this Mormon faction. From the colonial Juarez, colonial Dublin, Nova Casa Grandes there, that has a court or a park just dedicated to the Chinese CCP, right there where the train comes in. And I didn't think twice about that so much, except for, these are Americans. These are Americans and some Canadians that went to this area and settled because they want to be polygamous. And they settled in this area. So they wanted to thwart the law of the United States, but yet they kept their citizenship. And they have, absolutely profited off of their citizenship to the United States while thwarting its laws and living in Mexico. This whole polygamous thing just gets so out of hand, y'all. It just gets so out of hand. Remember the case of the family that had 3 Americans buried on their property, big property, big $1 million property over in Mexico of this one of these Mormon faction of polygamists, and the wives, they didn't even know their origin. They didn't even know their origin, y'all. That case is just, you can look it up, the last name of the family is Black. Um, so, yeah, and Cesar Piniche was in on that, and also on the um, murder of a journalist looking into his criminal activity. She was murdered right outside of her home. I think he's still being investigated for that. I'm not sure. Um, but that's connected. So, so much is happening because President Trump is arresting um, these uh, these real huge criminal groups. Call them a big T, call them the big T, and he's also deporting so many illegals, and he is really considering, and I've heard that this is coming, the Insurrection Act. He wants to give the governors and the mayors a chance to do the right thing. They don't seem to be willing to do the right thing. They rather protect the illegals than protect their own constituents, their own people. And so he is really considering the Insurrection Act, which he would absolutely, because there's open rebellion. That's the legal term, is when they are in open rebellion, and they're in open rebellion of federal law while demanding federal money, right? While they're demanding federal money. So, this is very, um, just a lot of good things are happening because if he does this, there's a real chance for Chicago. There's a real chance for Portland to become like what he did to Washington, D.C., to make it safe and to make it beautiful. And look at what's happening. And I should have named this about Gaza and Israel. Richard went with us to Israel in 2016. We had a chance to go with our Christian group to visit Israel, and we landed in Tel Aviv. And we had an amazing trip there, tour there, and I can tell you that it is absolutely worth all this work that President Trump has put into it. It is a melting pot of people. I don't think people realize what a melting pot Israel is. There's so many people, and people from all over the world come there. It's a very, very important place. And, with this whole Charlie Kirk thing, you hear a lot of, um, I don't know, a lot of attacks on Israel. And I understand if they don't like the government of Israel. But being there and seeing everything and going over to Palestine, because the Palestinian controlled areas are like Bethlehem, like Cana, where Jesus, was born, and then he changed water to wine. And we went over there, and we also went to, um, um, I'm trying to, the name of the place, it'll come to me, but it's on the cliff. It's just kind of late at night. But Masada, yeah, Masada. We went over to Masada and we took the gondola up to Masada. That area was also in the Palestinian controlled area. And, these areas are very, very important. The peace is very, very important. And now President Trump has, and it's no easy task, because it's so many different people there and so many different religions, even the Benai Gardens, right? right, at Haifa. If you go visit Haifa, you see the Benai Gardens. That's a whole nother religion. And so this is a very diverse group of people, and to get peace there when there is conflict like there has been is just really an amazing feat. And President Trump seems to have moved to a huge step, a huge step in that. It's not a total done deal. The first step is a done deal, which will bring, I believe, should bring the the hostages home. And this will then go to another step, a huge step. But just to get to this place is, just an artwork, an art form. Many people can't do it because they don't have the patience, they don't have the understanding of all the different people involved. But President Trump, with his connections and his world connections, if you look at his financials, he's had to deal with so many different people, with so many different cultures, for his business purposes, to build hotels, to build golf courses, to build high rises. And he absolutely has been magnificent in his patience with this. His endurance is just, something that everyone can respect. This is very, very good news for the Middle East. It is really, really well worth it. And I hear that the bombed area there will be all rebuilt, beautifully rebuilt. Gaza will be rebuilt. And if President Trump has anything to do with planning the rebuild, it'll be beautiful, because he's about aesthetics. He's not just about square boxes, but he wants aesthetics, for beauty and glory, says the Lord. Everything that we do should be for beauty and glory. It shouldn't just be for a box. We need to really focus on aesthetics. We focus on aesthetics on our own self. We should have focused on aesthetics when it comes to buildings and bridges and roadways and everything that we do. So President Trump understands that, and I think it's going to be a real wowzer if he makes it happen. He seems to be making it happen, this gives us, in our son's case, real encouragement, because if he can get this done, which is like an impossible dream, right? That he can bring our son home. I really, and he can bring accountability to our son's case. And he is doing everything. When I think about what he's doing simultaneously, it's just absolutely remarkable. And because he is going after these groups that are up to no good. He did expose Plenitude Crematorium, the rotting body narco dumping ground that were recycling and bodies, to collect on them. And he did expose that, and that's connected to an El Pasoan, a millionaire that his home is right next to Beto O'Rourke, and his wife is running El Paso City, the city magazine for El Paso. Or one of the contributors to this. No, she's one of the head people for the city magazine. And so that just, and he has loads of businesses, and he owns this crematorium, right? This rotting body where the rats are going through over 400 bodies, and who knows how many bodies have been there. And the crematorium oven furnace was working, but they just didn't do that because they were recycling the bodies for humanitarian aid, for unidentified migrant, for slap the COVID on it, to get more money. And then, of course, any victims of the cartel could be disposed of there. And, of course, in our son's case. So that was exposed. And of course, this fuel, this fuel siphoning, the fuel theft of national fuel there from Pemex, from petroleum and diesel from Pemex, and to the Carvel, uh, Carvel Energy Group that was partnered with the Attorney General, Cesar Paneche, that was then, redoing, laundering the paperwork and that, so that he could sell it back to the governors of the states of Mexico. And yeah, what a scam, and huge billions, y'all, billions and billions of pesos, y'all. This is a huge scam. So a big scandal. And so everything that is happening now is pointing to um, getting Richard's remains back, an attempt to get Richard's remains back. And I believe because President Trump can do the impossible, right? He can do amazing things. Just this whole piece, all the peace deals he's made. So, he's a negotiator. And of course, we know that at least partial remains of Richard ended up in Mexico. And we know that this group is part of this group, and that the Democrats and the rhinos that, are against President Trump. It makes you understand how Romney could not like President Trump, right? Because, he's absolutely from this area. His dad's from this area. His grandfather's from this area. And they were up to no good. Clearly that's where the evidence shows that they're up to no good. And so, that just shows you that the rhinos are, don't favor President Trump, but they are very deceptive and they play both sides, when really what they have in mind is to protect their this criminal operation. That's, and they'll do whatever they can to protect this criminal operation. And you see that with Connell Witten in the FBI as the assistant special agent in charge. Connell Witten, his family are millionaires from that area, along with the Romneys, are very close with the Romneys. A lot of marriages between the two families, and here he is in the El Paso. This is a huge conflict of interest. Why is he even there in the El Paso office? He should never be allowed to be there because his conflicts of interest are so big. And his wife, Monique, is right there doing her woman postings that are very, very telling. That they are very telling, and absolutely expose that this is all a criminal group that's protecting their criminal enterprise, and they don't care if they have to be Mexican or American, a Democrat or a Republican. They just want to protect their criminal enterprise. So that is, huge news. And with this attack on Kash Patel, and we have gotten, reassurance that this doesn't seem like it's from a cartel, this narco banner. And many agree with us on that one because of the many mistakes. And when the cartel put up they're a billion-dollar business. It's not like they're a bunch of thugs. Okay, it's not like that. They have a lot of money, and when they put up a narco banner, they do it right. And this banner is very sloppy and everything. So it looks like those are imposters that are threatening FBI Cash Patel, FBI Director Cash Patel. But that doesn't mean that those threats are not real. That it just helps you understand that where this is coming from, these threats. They're seem to be very worried and want to stop Cash Patel from, raiding your $20 million home, right? They don't want that. So uh, it needs to be taken very seriously, but I hope that our intelligence that we get and our will help the investigators kind of maybe think outside the box a little bit to get the real people. And I think that's what's happening in the Charlie Kirk. People are having to think outside the box a little bit because of all the discrepancies and all of the theories about how he lost his life, how he was assassinated, right? And the absolute cover up. There's no doubt that it's been a cover up, right? There's just no doubt because of all the evidence out there. So I think that the truth will come out. Whatever they find out with the Charlie Kirk, it's there's a lot of theories out there, and we have been watching it closely and putting it together ourselves. I can tell you that the security failed, and they failed on purpose. Okay, they failed on purpose. It was an incompetence because of course, Candace Owen came out and said that Charlie Kirk was admitted he was afraid for his life just right before that, and so his security would have been very vigilant because he must have had reason, with all the threats, like the death threats that we got. There would be, a higher security. There would have been at least one person on one of the roofs there. You would never put him in a hole. He was in a hole, surrounded, a perfect target. No, something was very, very wrong with his security. And I can tell you that that has been confirmed, that there was something very, very wrong with his security. So, I just want to thank everyone for coming on every day. And we will absolutely be back tomorrow. Please share all of what we're putting up. It is so much. It's coming so fast. So, and as soon as we, um, have new information, we try to make a post and put it up, and try to be different than what you read anyplace else. So, because some people don't want to mention what we find. But the first and foremost is the truth. We just want to post the truth. It has to be the truth. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on. And thank you, Danielle, for coming on. Things are really breaking, aren't they? They're just really breaking. And it's hard to just tell people everything that's happened through this. But Anicia and Danielle, they absolutely know. They absolutely can tell you the progression of this. So we want to thank them very, very much for that dedication and the loyalty. And please share this information, because this is how we're going to really, well, we're a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And it is dependent on the people to get things done. So thank you so much for sharing.